According to the latest census, Filipino is the second most common mother tongue in Winnipeg, edging out French, which is Canada's other official language. But many still of the older generations of Filipino immigrants lose their language after arriving in Canada. Pag-usapan natin ang kahalagahan ng pagsasalita ng Tagalog dito sa Canada, most especially sa ating mga anak.
Okay, eyes to me all the time, okay? Magandang umaga sa inyong lahat.
Magandang umaga po, Ginang Hinota.
Tumayo tayo at umawi tayo ng lupang hiniram. Okay, kanang kamay sa dibdib. Isa, dalawa, tatlo. Handa, awit. Isa, dalawa, tatlo.
Today is Wednesday. Ngayon ay Lunes. Pero,
Sabihin nga natin uli, 26. Linggo, Lunes, Huwebes, Biyernes, Sabado. Lakasan natin.
Linggo araw sa isang linggo. Sabay-sabay.
Ngayon,
Di ko na nakita. Batok na wala. Sayang ang pera ko. Bibig na logo. Sa pagkalit sana. Nabusog pa ako.
Welcome Paul and Loretta, mabuhay sa inyo.
Mabuhay, Ate
Mabuhay.
Lourdes.
Salamat for joining us today at Mabuhay TV. For my first question, for Paul, why did you like being part of this program, the Filipino bilingual program?
I think there's everything to like about the program. As somebody from the Philippines who immigrated to Canada, I really see the importance and the value of knowing the language as informing as part of the identity of the child. And there are just so much benefits to learning two languages simultaneously. There's flexible thinking, there's abstract thinking, and overall, the kids are able to communicate to their elders, to their lolo, to their lola. At napakasarap na makita na ang mga kabataan are not losing their language and has the opportunity to learn it and to use it.
Yeah, yan like what we mentioned a while ago na the other community was able to keep their language, get down to their children. So what do you think for Loretta, what are the barriers for our kids not learning our language? Like even my kids, they don't know how to speak Tagalog, even though we speak it at home with me and my husband.
siguro isa sa pinaka mabigat na barrier ay yung mga bagong dating natin, na mga kababayan natin dito. Gusto kagad nilang mag-assimilate sa Canadian culture. At yun ay matuto kagad ang Ingles, no? So, ang nangyayari, nawawala yung pagsasalita ng Pilipino bilang ating lengguwahe. So, kailangan matutunan ng mga magulang natin na hindi dapat alisin yung lengguwaheng Pilipino, kundi dapat mas buhayin pa siya at gamitin.
Magandang point yun, no? Yung mentality ng as a parent, magsisimula yung forget you're in Canada, dapat marunong ka talagang mag-Ingles. Kasi
Tama.
di ba yung ating we have to be very careful sa ating grammar. Siguro yun ang isa sa mga old na kinaugalian natin, di ba? So with the thinking of coming here instead of pala na teaching our kids English, which is they will learn it naman naturally, di ba? We should be teaching them our language.
That's right.
And do you think this is for Paul is kind of late na, or we could have done it sooner?
I think we could have, and I think it's been done in the past where there's heritage programs, language programs after school. Now, the difference of this one is that we're offering it during school, and we're honoring, and we want the Filipinos, the kids from the Filipino community to feel seen, and that they're represented within the curriculum, within the school day. So I think that's the biggest difference, because also, if they're doing it after school, and then when they go home, and they don't get to really practice conversing using Filipino, it loses confidence. Ang hirap, right? There are many kids here na nakakaintindi, pero they don't feel confident speaking it. And so infusing it during the school day within the curriculum allows us the opportunity to engage the students, the kids, to really talk in Tagalog. And then when they go home, they bring these new words, right? They go home, they say, Mom, Dad, I have a new Tagalog word. And that hopefully allows the opportunity for them to converse in Tagalog at home.
Tama.
That's right. So, but personally, from someone who had education here in Winnipeg, somewhat an education here, how important really it is to learn Tagalog for both of you. For you have kids, right? And how important it is for you. For the generation today to learn not only for their family and their community, but academically.
Kasi language is part of our culture. If we will lose our language, we lose part of our culture. Diba? So, kailangan talaga nating ipagpatuloy. Kung hindi, mawawala tong kultura na to sa atin. So, we really need to impart to the kids that this is part of our culture. We have to preserve this culture, which is the Filipino language.
And
right?
it's a huge part of your identity.
That's right.
Because you could identify as a Filipino,
Yeah.
but if you don't speak the language and if you don't feel confident using your own language, there's a sense that you're losing a part of your identity and who you are and your roots of where you're coming from. And I think that's the huge value behind offering a Filipino bilingual program.
Parang nakikita ko na nito na may mga reaction yung mga regional natin eh. Bakit Filipino lang? Why not Bisaya, Kapampangan? Is this something to be considered in the future?
I think we are wanting to start one step at a time. And Filipino being the official language now of the Philippines is a starting point. Now, if there is a huge clamor, a huge uptake and interest in learning the dialects in the Philippines, then maybe we could
Then
include it
probably.
within the program. But I think it's one step at a time. And we are really hoping that the families within our Filipino community here in Winnipeg, I know that we are the largest growing community, would consider having their kids in a Filipino bilingual program where we offer the exact same provincial curriculum, but infuse it with a Filipino culture, heritage, and language acquisition that would build up their kids' skills to learn two languages simultaneously.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
and if there's other option pa din also to learn, like is this as important as learning French? Because French is really, parang some parents would rather choose their children to learn French than Tagalog. Like, what are your stand on that?
Para sa akin kasi, okay na mag-aral ng French as another language acquisition. Pero tandaan natin itong mga magulang natin na iba, hindi naman nakakapagsalita din ng French. So ang bata, kahit matuto ng French sa paaralan, kung hindi din naman napapractice sa bahay, ay mawawala din ito, di ba? Whereas kung Pilipino ang pinag-uusapan natin o ginagamit nilang wika sa bahay, marunong mag-Pilipino ang mga magulang, kaya hindi mamamatay yung wika. Mabubuhay yung wika, lalago yung wika.
I think yung mentality na mas makakakuha ng magandang trabaho yung anak
And
ko.
I get
diba?
that because French is the second official language of Canada. And I don't want to discount the fact that it is an added skill to have French, but also having Tagalog allows you to just, know your identity. And you can learn French maybe in grade 7, in high school.
Yeah, definitely.
We're starting the Filipino bilingual program in early years right now. It doesn't stop them from learning another language when they grow older.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
definitely an advantage. You have
Yes.
trilingual.
Yeah.
Diba?
Multilingual,
Kids,
yes.
right?
Can I add to that? Kasi alam din naman natin ang maraming ibang lahi ang nag-aaral ng Pilipino ngayon dahil ang alam natin sa komersyo, maraming gustong makapagsalita din ng Pilipino para sa pakikipagtalastasan, lalo na yung mga nagbebenta ng sasakyan at kung ano-ano pa, 'di ba? Nag-aaral
Tama.
sila para makapag-communicate din sila sa ibang lahi. 'Di ba? So importante talaga yung wikang Pilipino.
Yeah. So with that question, as a educator, was there a special training to be a teacher for the Filipino bilingual?
Being a native speaker at naging guro din naman ako sa Pilipinas sa loob ng 17 taon. So naniniwala ko na meron na akong kasanayan para makapagturo ng wikang Pilipino. At saka naging guro din ako ng after-school heritage program na sa pamumuno ng Manitoba Association of Filipino Teachers Incorporated. So medyo marami na kaming trainings na ginawa. At bilang guro ng Winnipeg School Division ay nagkakaroon din naman kami ng continuous training. Kaya para mapagbuti pa yung aming pagtuturo sa wikang Pilipino.
Wow. It's anong subject ba taught in the bilingual program?
Ang mga subject na tinuturo sa Pilipino ay social studies, Filipino literacy, arts, at daily routines. Ang science, may mga subject na tinuturo sa English katulad ng science, mathematics, PE, at syempre yung English language arts.
Okay.
Pero may mga subjects o topics sa science na pwede mo ring ituro sa Pilipino.
And I think it's not a hard black and white. I think where the program really makes an impact is where we're able to infuse wherever we can the Filipino language with the culture and the heritage, but also considering the content of the provincial curriculum. So I think that's where really the most impact is being drawn from, because it also allows students to see themselves and relate themselves to what they're learning, which I think in essence is a huge piece in acquiring knowledge and applying those knowledge if you see yourself as as being part of it.
That's right, I agree. That how many % of the bilingual language is used as medium of instruction?
50% ng Filipino instruction ay ginagamit sa umaga. No? So sa hapon naman ay 50% na English.
And of course, there any extra cost? Yun ang lagi tanong.
No,
Wala.
it's free. And we're offering this in the largest school division in the province. And so if any students within the Winnipeg School Division would be interested to have their kids register for the Filipino bilingual program, we're also able to offer them transportation, which means that we will bus them from where they live to Meadows West School for free.
Wow. So this really gives us as a parent a great hope na our children, when they grow up or after they attend this program, they'll communicate to us more, and especially with their lola. Kasi yun din when we take our parents here, it's like, naku, ano ba, I cannot, yung iniiwasan nila. Minsan, yun din nagiging cause ng hindi sila close because they can't talk. Very conscious yung mga grandparents to talk to their grandchildren. And it's similar to the grandchildren to talk to their grandparents. So, when you look at it at the bigger picture, ang laki nung gap. Nung gap. At saka yung disadvantage, akala natin, okay lang yan, matututunan lang din niya din yan. Pero yung effect within the family and as a community as a whole, ang laki pala.
Yes.
Totoo yan.
Do you notice that with the kids today, yung mga second generation na dito na pinanganak, they are more searching for their identity than ever.
Correct.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And I think that's the whole premise of the narrative. This is the narrative that I'm seeing. No? We have the first generations who came here, and then they wanted to assimilate, they wanted to integrate in the community. They have kids. Their kids probably have lost their language, and now those kids have their own kids, and now they're trying to get their kids the opportunity to learn the language that they themselves couldn't speak.
Right? Yeah. So eventually, those kids will teach their parents.
And that's what's happening right now. There has been a few students who very heartwarming stories where they're Zooming with their grandparents in Tagalog now, when their parents couldn't speak fluently in Tagalog. So
that's very heartwarming. With the other school division, do you have any numbers on the success rate of the program?
I think it's pretty successful. We are in collaboration with Seven Oaks School Division with their Filipino bilingual program. And it is with a hope that collectively as a Filipino community, we could foster, promote, and grow
Increase,
this,
right?
grow the Filipino bilingual program.
That's right.
We are the second largest community here in Canada and Winnipeg, and I think it is time for us to do this.
I think so too. So with this program, ano yung how do they get their application? Do they have to be a permanent resident, or do they have to have a certain status to?
If your kids are in a public school right now, registered in a public school, then we would gladly take everybody. Meadows West is open to everyone, and we're very, very excited to be a part of your child's learning journey.
That's
So,
exciting.
they could contact the school, they can Google us, but the school's phone number is 204-694-6755. And we are open to any inquiries with regards to the Filipino bilingual program, and we'd be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Okay, maraming salamat, Loretta. And
Maraming
Paul,
salamat po.
any message to our community?
So nananawagan po tayo sa ating mga kababayan na kung kayo po ay interesadong mag-aral ng Filipino Bilingual Program, wag po kayong mag-atubili. Kumontak po kasi kayo sa Meadows West School. Kami po ay laging bukas para sa inyong mga katanungan.
And just as a last note, I know that many of you might be thinking that if your kids are in a Filipino bilingual program, that they might not get the full programming. I'm telling you that this is an add-on. This is a bonus. There's an extra language acquisition process here that your kids are going to be taking part of. So we hope that you will consider registering your children to the Filipino bilingual program. We are accepting registrations for kinder, grade 1 and grade 2 for the upcoming school year in September. So if you have any questions, contact us. It's 204-694-6755 and it's Meadows West School. Thank you.
Maraming salamat muli at mabuhay ang Filipino language.
Maraming
Mabuhay.
pong salamat.
Thank you.
Mabuhay.
Thank you.
Don't be hesitant to put your kids in this program kasi it will help you, it will benefit your kids, your family, and you as parents kasi it's easier for you to express what you want to say to your kid. And yung bond ng mga Filipino, which is yung pagbavalue natin sa family. That's the main thing na masaya kami na nape-preserve through this program. So, dun sa mga parents na nag-hesitate na ipasok yung anak nila sa program na to, wag. Sayang, at saka yun nga, katulad ng sinabi niya, yung support na binibigay ng community dito, ng mga Filipino community para sa program na to preserve it, sobrang huge. Like, there's a lot of programs na pwedeng i-help yung bata. And it's really enjoyable. Like, for us, kaming mag-asawa, kaya yung support namin dito is sobrang ganun na lang din kasi we see yung changes ng bata.
Sa program.
Yung progress through this program. So, sobrang saya kami doon. Sobrang happy kami doon. So, yun. Try nyo. Malaking changes. Try nyo, guys.